Okay, it's the end of the year, and it's been kind of rough for me and my family. Um, a lot has happened in the latter part of the year, starting in September. Um, so, trying to get over those things and move on and try to get your mind right, trying to get my mind right so I can refocus my attention on my studies and everything else that I have planned. So, it's kind of hard. What really doesn't need to happen is I said this before that after my brother's, um, he unalived himself, right? And so after he did that, I felt like I was losing family members, because my oldest brother, um, didn't, he couldn't understand my grief. He couldn't understand the way I was grieving. So he started bashing me and condemning me for the way I was grieving. But the terrible thing about that was that my brother never came to me. He never came to me to try to help me, to even try to understand, how I was feeling, or talk to me or help me through it. And I understand that my brother is not good. He's not emotionally intelligent. He's not a good communicator at all. I try to help him with that, but he just doesn't want to learn. He just doesn't want to learn. So it's been kind of rough. It's been rough, dealing with the loss of a sibling, um from a self-inflicted type of thing is really devastating. Okay, it's really devastating. And so we're trying to figure out, while you're trying to sort out your feelings and understand why he did such a thing, the one thing that doesn't need to happen is to have family members turn on you. And that's exactly what my brother did. He's the oldest brother in the family. He's the firstborn, but he's just not very good at, he's not the one to go to for advice. Okay. And that's okay, because communication is a skill. Okay. Communication is a skill, whether people know it or not. Just because you have a mouth and you can talk, that don't mean that you're a good communicator. Nor does it mean that you're a good listener simply because you got ears. You have to be a good listener and you have to be able to be a good communicator in order to really, establish a good connection with people. That's something that my brother doesn't have. Um, what's really worse about this whole situation with my brother is that the dangerous part is that he refuses to learn. So, and he refuses to accept any advice from anybody. Like, okay, if it's not his idea, he's going to reject that because he didn't think of it. So, when you give him good advice, he's going to readily, I'm telling you, he's going to reject it immediately because he didn't think of it. He doesn't know how to accept other people's ideas. And that's really dangerous, because, nobody knows everything. Nobody is too old. Nobody is too old to learn unless are brain damaged, you know what I'm saying? But nobody is too old to learn anything. So I'm really frustrated. I'm frustrated with my brother because he does this thing whenever I try to talk to him. Um, Whenever I try to tell him, with a civil tongue, you know, um, things about him that bother me, what he does is, and this is what he shouldn't do. And if you do this, if you that person who does this, stop it. Okay. What he does is he'll deny it for, of course he'll deny it, but then he'll start looking for things to talk about, to criticize about me. Okay. How do you go 30 some years back in the past and try to dredge up something that I allegedly did and you never said anything about it? 30 something years, you never said nothing about it. Why? Why bring it up now? And plus, like, I'm not saying that it's true. I have no idea what the allegations are against me, but that's what people who don't know how to communicate well and who cannot take accountability and they cannot take responsibility for their actions. That's what they do. He's not alone, but that's what he does. And so I really hate that he does that. I really do, because I don't have a relationship with him no more. Okay? Because I told him how I felt. I said, I wanted him to address what he did to me, um, about my grief, about bad mouthing me and the family to other family members, my daughter being one of them. How do you do that? How do you bad mouth your sister to her daughter? What kind of example is that setting? What is that doing? And then once again, you're not coming to your sister, but you're bad mouthing me. Okay. So I said, you got to deal with that. We got to talk about that. I know we didn't grow up talking about things. That's not how we were raised. But it's been 50 years since we ain't been under our parents' rule. So, you have to learn how to take responsibility for yourself. So if I tell you, you hurt me, what you said to me, what you did to me was wrong, and it hurt me. We need to deal with that. And you tell me, like he told me, shut up. That's not only rude and disrespectful, it's abusive. Okay? It's abusive. And then after that, I'm like, okay, so be it. I ain't got nothing else to say about it. Not to you. I don't. Okay? And then you continue to text, he continues to text me saying something about I was bad mouthing him 30 something years ago. Boy, if you don't stop, whatever the hell it was, why didn't you say something 30 something years ago? Now is not the time to do that. Deal with what the allegation is toward you. Deal with that. And if you don't know how to deal with it, learn how to deal with it. People I sent you information. I sent him information on active listening, empathy, emotional intelligence. He didn't read nothing. If he did, he didn't respond to it. So that's what I'm saying. This craziness with my oldest brother. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of not being able to talk to him. You go to him, in love with a civil tongue, and then he rejects me and then starts, being really mean and abusive. And okay, well, you're not going to abuse me. I demand that you respect me. I was hoping that we could have, an adult conversation, but apparently we can't because he doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't. I do. But I can't do it. I can't have no kind of adult conversation, it seems like, with anybody in this family. Nobody wants to talk about nothing. But instead, everybody wants to talk about things behind the other person's back. Yeah. So I guess this sort of thing, whatever it is, people are going to carry that with them into the new year. I'm not. I was hoping for the best. I'm optimistic, but I'm a realist. And I understand that, people who they don't have the capacity. If you don't have the capacity, if you don't know how to do something, right? You just don't have the knowledge or the skill. Here's an idea. Learn how to, do the thing that people, if you don't know how to communicate, they got all tons and tons and tons of information that will help you learn how to communicate. If you're not a good listener, if you constantly interrupt people when they speak, if you're one of those, okay, you constantly interrupt people when they talk, here's an idea. How about learn how to be a good listener so that you can hear what the person is saying first before you just start rejecting shit, okay? God, that is so frustrating. Again, so yeah, one brother is gone. I don't have a relationship with the other brother because he's ignorant. You cannot talk to him. Nobody can talk to him. So, I tried. But one thing I'm not going to do is be abused by my brother. Not definitely not my sisters. My sisters don't do that. Nobody in this family will abuse me because I'm trying to, I'm trying to have a connection with you. I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to overcome this dysfunction that's been, I guess you can call it a generational curse. Lack of communication. Don't talk about nothing in the family now. Just cuss each other out. Be rude to each other. Be disrespectful to each other. Let's keep talking about each other behind each other's back. Yeah. That's a great idea. Keep talking about each other behind each other's backs. Yeah, because that's going to work, right? Rather than learning how to, face up to whatever the grievances are and let's see if we can work it out. We don't want to do that, do we? No, we just like to, yeah. So it's better to just, backstab and run away from the problem. Yeah, let's do that. Keep running away from the problem. That ain't gonna be me. So, anyway, this is the end of 2025. This is New Year's Eve. I'm sitting here, just chilling at home. But I wanted to talk about this thing that's bothering me about my brother. It's really heartbreaking that I have to um, sever the relationship with him because he doesn't listen. He doesn't know how to listen. He refuses to listen. Once again, anytime you present him with an idea that he didn't think of, you better be ready to be rejected because he gonna reject it. He's going to because he didn't think of it. And then when you talk about emotions, don't go to him. He's not the one. Instead of processing or thinking about what you said, what he's going to do is start attacking you. He's not alone. So if you do that, if you're one of those people who do that, stop it, please. Okay? So yeah, I got 2 sisters. It's just me and I got 3 with Mary Louise. So no more brothers. I prayed about it and I done left it there. So yeah, Happy New Year, y'all. This your girl, Lady J. Sad about the end of another relationship, but hey, it is what it is. And I'm out.